Hey, what's up, guys? Can you hear me? How's the audio? Looks like we have a few attendees. Big Fish Lab, what's up? What's up, buddy? How you doing, man? Rusty Nail, what's up, Rusty from Germany? What are you guys up to today? Any cichlid stuff you guys are working on? Audio's good? All right. Yeah, time difference, huh? It's 10 p.m. for you over there, huh? Yeah, we are, I think we're close to 2 o'clock. Nice, beautiful day here, sunny day. Sure how the weather is where you guys are at. Rusty Nail said he's at work. Got the night shift going. That's always cool. It's cool that you can join some live videos on YouTube, Rusty, while you're working. Jay Smith, what's up, Jay? Jay said, beautiful sunny Los Angeles in the house. Yep. It's nice out here, isn't it, Jay? I recently got a huge overload of fry from my Carpentus, my Blue Texas. We're looking at them right now, but it's kind of like a perfect storm. I ended up getting 3 spawns within like a week and a half of time, and I got a big spawn from this pair on the left, which I'll get off tripod here for a second. Got a big spawn from the pair on the left. It looks like the female's in breeding dress still. And this is the pair that has not wanted to spawn for some time, at least successfully. So they finally gave me a spawn, and it was really funny because for the longest time she had like a routine. That sponge filter right back there, it's an X large sponge filter that was in the back corner right there for years, and she would always lay her eggs on that sponge filter and then move them right into that pot right as they became wigglers. Well, for whatever reason, about a year ago, she or he stopped fertilizing the eggs, doing that method. And you know, I thought it might have been a few things. I thought maybe I had a fry or two that kind of survived in here, and maybe those fry were eating the eggs. I don't know, but I moved that sponge over to the right side, and then the very next week she spawned. Oh, actually the male was shaking his head in this pot. I think the male really wanted her to put her eggs down in the pot, and then she did, because that sponge filter's not over there, it's in the other side, and then they had a really big spawn. So that was I thought that was really funny, just a very subtle change to to get him back on track. So funny how he's just so stubborn. So stubborn, did not want to fertilize eggs on the sponge filter anymore. He just really wanted them in the pot. So anyways, and so now I got their fry up here, and then I think like less than a week later, this pair spawned. See this female? She's just like crazy. Look at those teeth. So yeah, she's nuts. And this pair spawned, and then I moved their fry up here. And so both sides have a breeding box, kind of like opposite as far as fry. And then the same week that that second pair spawned, I think you guys saw the video, the pair in the grout spawned. And you know, I thought about it. I was like, man, that's just too much fry. You know, what am I going to do with that? And I really like this second male right here. It's got a little nuchal hump growing. Anyways, this guy right here and the female spawned, and she was being really aggressive. So I always like to pull the fry regardless if I'm going to keep them or not, just to, even though it looks like she might still be in breeding dress a little bit. I pulled their fry, and she had a pretty good sized batch. And I was like, man, what am I going to do with these? It's just too many fry to combine with those breeding boxes. And so I threw their fry just as an experiment. I threw them out in the 100-gallon pond tub outside. Water temp in here is 82 degrees. Water temp outside is 71 degrees. So I was like, they'll probably just be in shock and not make it. They're doing good. They're just roaming around this 100-gallon pond. And so their batch is outside. Now, you know, it could start cooling off here very soon. And then, you know, they might not make it because they're really young. But I have heard of people keeping Carpentus outdoors in as low as 50, like high 50s water temp, although it's probably not advisable, but I have heard that. So who knows, maybe their fry outside might stand a little bit of a chance. So anyways, lots of Carpentus fry growing out right now. Love the species. Arturo said, what's up, Arturo? Arturo said, looking forward to the Trimac. Yeah, the Trimac, bud. He's down in the bottom in a 60-gallon, and I kind of got I got boxes like covering the light so he doesn't get skittish, because that tank on the bottom is just all wide open, you know, no hiding spaces or anything. But yeah, Trimacs. I'll show this bigger Trimac that I have a little bit if anybody wants to go see him. He's starting to look better and better by the day, but the other one is looking good too. They're all Trimacs. These guys all have some pretty good markings. And again, we'll just cover the normal intro here. Just a live video. It's got no format. Ask whatever you want. Talk about whatever you want. You know, it's a discussion. Call it a Cichlid meeting with everyone here. Unfortunately, we can only see one person's, you know, point of view. So you guys are stuck seeing my fish. I'm welcome to move to any tank you want, and any fish you want to see, any topic you want to bring up. I highly recommend. Could be controversial. I think some of the recent topics we talked about, I think from the last month, was electric blue jack Dempsey's, pure or hybrids, and that was pretty fun. There's quite a few topics we can talk about. As long as everybody's respectful, I think we can talk about just about anything. So bring up something if you want to talk about it, and we'll all weigh in. If I think of anything cool, I'll bring it up, but I do that every single live video, so I'm gonna run out of ideas at some point, or just bring up the old ones. And I try to get to the comics as quick as I can and read them, answer every question. I don't want to say that your name wrong. Chrisia said Chilean, Illinois. I bet. Must be getting cold out there, which reminds me, thank you. I might have to start including heat packs in my shipments to some areas. You know, we're lucky out here. It's I think it's in the 70s today, so we're fortunate. But yeah, I got to start putting some heat packs soon. See if we can get this female to flare up a little bit. Nope. Let's get close. There she goes. She doesn't like the camera. I think she just doesn't like to be filmed. Anyways, thank you everyone for joining. Looks like JT is here. Yo, what's up? What's up, JT? Thanks for joining. Sorry for the glare. You can check out any tank you want. They're not all going to be perfect and shiny and clean, but main focus here is just to have a live cichlid meeting discussion. Big Fish Lad said, it's a great point of view, to be fair. Well, appreciate that. Very kind words. You know, I think everybody kind of sees their own fish all the time, every day. So seeing a different point of view or a different fish room is, for me, a lot of fun. And so hopefully you guys maybe like seeing some of my fish from time to time. Try to do my best to show them off. Got to get up on the YouTube update videos more frequently. Been slacking, but winter time I should be able to do that more. Steve, what's up, Steve Edwards? Steve, thank you for joining. Steve, unfortunately, I haven't gotten into African cichlids. I am purely an American cichlid keeper. Of course, got some dithers, silver dollars that you'll probably see, but besides that, I haven't strayed away from basically Central and South American cichlids. Liam Walters, what's up, buddy? Appreciate you stopping by. Liam said, I've been offered a 9-inch electric blue jack Dempsey, biggest one I've ever seen. Wow. Yeah, I mean, those fish I've never kept. But you know, you hear about them, you know, and with those health issues, that's pretty big accomplishment, right? To have a 9-inch electric blue jack Dempsey. Those things definitely are not the hardiest, the toughest fish. You know, as a rule of thumb, I don't know if it's true or not, but I've heard so many people say to never buy any electric blue jack Dempsey under 4 inches. And reason being is a lot of them apparently die off under that size. You know, there's a lot of weak weak ones, and you know, if you get a 4-incher, then you may have avoided that and kind of got a strong specimen. I don't know if that's true. Let me know. But 9 inches, that's pretty impressive. Kroger Markets, what's up? Thanks for joining. He has a question. Said, at what lowest constant temperature would you keep the Carpentus or Texas Cichlids? Well, yeah, obviously those are two different species. Now, my understanding is they're blue Texas, right? The true Texas, completely different species. I've kept both. And the true Texas, which is actually the one of the only ones that can be found in North America, obviously Texas, and those have been found in 30-degree water temperatures. They're not as pretty. They're a little bit more dull, but I know for a fact they thrive in as low as, just above freezing water temperatures. And, years ago, I saw that. I saw, I think, a fisherman in Texas catching them and said, hey, I'm going to give that a try. I'm going to put them in a outdoor pond here year round. And they did very well outdoors. I think 3 years. I kept them in a 300-gallon pond, no heater. Water during the winter would get as low as high 40s, and they did great. I'm guessing, I don't know the exact temp, but obviously the average temperature for that species, the true Texas, is going to be lower than the Carpentus, which is found in Mexico, warmer waters. What I keep my Carpentus indoors in my fish room is might not match in the wild, but I usually let it fluctuate anywhere from 78 to 82, I guess would be the majority of the time. I'm completely fine having them in 76, even lower. I think some of my bottom tanks, my 10 gallons for fry, I don't have a working heater in them, and the fry have been fine in 72, 73 degree water during the winter. So I know they can take, they're fine in some of those cooler temps. And if you're asking that question due to my pond experiment I just started, I threw some less than a week old Carpentus fry outdoors. Yeah, we're gonna find out here how those fry do, because I think we're right around the corner here for the temperatures dropping. Should probably see some 60-degree water coming up, and then December, January, probably the 50-degree water, depending on how our winter is. But yeah, I hope that answers your question. All right. Steve Edwards. Steve said, cool, bud. I'm the opposite and only have kept African cichlids. I keep 3 types of trophies currently. Would like to get in South American cichlids. Yeah, Steve, I can't tell you honestly from firsthand experience, the big difference between them. Although, obviously you always see those debates, which I think they're silly. People are, African cichlids versus American cichlids, but I think you're going to find a big difference. I think it's what I've heard a lot is it's more about, the personality of the fish. You keep a lot fewer. I mean, sometimes just one in a tank by himself. Like the Amphilophus, and it kind of becomes like a wet pet. A lot of the African cichlid tanks I've seen, it's just it's a lot of fish in one tank, you know, and I get it. You know, you got to spread the aggression, but I think I think the biggest difference is going to be, you know, you're focused on very few fish, maybe a pair, and for me at least, I love that. You know, breeding, seeing the growth and the fish get older into the stage of kind of becoming, you know, somewhat like a monster, you know, somewhat of a prehistoric look when they get really old, you know, and it's definitely a look you don't see very frequently in the hobby. You know, I think a lot of people only keep cichlids for a very short period of time on average. I don't know what that would be if someone were to survey, but you know, when you keep a fish for 5 to 10 years plus, man, they keep a different, they have a different look to them. You know, the males end up getting a big nuchal hump in some cases, and you know, they look really, really cool. And I think that's kind of a testament to the hard work and patience you have keeping them that long. I think we're all guilty of getting rid of fish too early, and I try not to do that. But I also, you know, when I try a new species, if it's not something I like, you know, I can tell. You know, maybe early on, maybe later. I just time to move on. You know, only got so many tanks to utilize. I want to focus on what I really love. You know, what I like to keep. And of course, there's going to be that experimenting, trying new species in some of my tanks. But yeah, you know, for me, it's you know, for some people, it's keeping the most colorful fish. Some people, it's all about personality. You know, maybe the Amphilophus kind of thing, which I'm not personally into, except for Trimacs. The Amphilophus thing, maybe it's just about a wet pet. You know, a big puppy dog. You know, some of them don't really have very good colors. You know, and it's more about the personality. For me, it's I think it's a combination of everything, you know, coloration, personality, that, how do you describe it? It's kind of like that ability to morph into something that you don't see very often, like that older fish, you know? And I feel like some species have that ability more than others. Like, to me, a festae, you know, an old festae. Old male festae looks just amazing to me. An old Carpentus starts growing that nuchal hump, looks amazing, you know, and I like that. I also like challenges, you know, the challenge of keeping certain species, maybe not too challenging where you're going to lose majority of them to bloat. But you know, the Stahlsberg eye, you know, the true green terrors, man, I've lost my fair share of those. Definitely, maybe more of the most challenging species I keep right now. But yeah, I think you will pleasantly like the South American cichlids. And of course, if you start watching my channel more, Steve, my obvious recommendation is the festae, the red tear, my favorite. Liam, between the eyes. Jay Smith said, ever heard of a Manaconda cichlid? Supposedly a hybrid festae jag. Beautiful fish if you're into hybrids. No, I haven't. I don't think I've heard that term, Jay. But you know, I'm not really. I don't really keep hybrids, but they're definitely some beautiful fish. Some of the ones I've seen. There's no denying some of the coloration that can be achieved by some of those hybrids. Old lady fish, of course, in the house. Old lady fish is a regular like some others here. Glad to have you. Kerr said, thank you. I was asking because I'm going to set up Few tanks at room temperature, always above 68. Yeah, I think you should be fine, personally, with the Carpentus at that temps. 68 might be a little bit lower than they're used to, possibly, in the wild in Mexico. But I feel like they should be fine in that. Like I said in the beginning, I've heard from someone who's kept them in 50s water temps, and it's not ideal. It's probably not recommended, but I think the Carpentus might be able to withstand some cooler temps more so than other species. Select Pet, what's up, man? Select Pet said hi all. Appreciate having you. Gotta think of a topic. Someone creative. Think of a really cool, somewhat controversial, different opinion type topic worth discussing. Or ask any question you want. Or let's go see any fish in my tanks that you want to see. But I think a cool discussion topic is always the number one in my book. Big Fish Lad said, hey man, I see your lad is enjoying fishing. Is he into the fish room yet? Yeah, my son, I mean, maybe it's more more being forced to go fishing with me because of my love for fishing. Yeah, he's I think he's enjoying it. He likes going out. I like to get him outdoors, not cooped up inside, and we go out, hang out by the lake. No monitors, no TVs. Get outdoors, and we do that. I think we're due to do that again. I got to get him out there again. But yeah, as far as fish keeping, no. They like the fish. They like to see them, but they're not super interested in them. And I'm a little worried too, because the last thing I want them to do is to start feeding my fish because it's cool without me being around. And obviously you can guess, they overfeed a tank, they could just kill them all. So I really have to be careful with that and be disciplined and strict, and for many other reasons. I mean, glass tanks, young kids, you got to be careful. So no, they haven't been put to work yet with any maintenance or anything like that, but it's definitely going to happen at some point when I think they're old enough and can be trusted enough, I guess you could say. Ethan, what's up, man? Ethan said, from what I've heard, Jack Dempsey in Texas withstand the coldest temps of Central American cichlids. Interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed the Jack Dempsey. I mean, those are found where? In Guatemala? Mexico, I think, too. So maybe I could be wrong on the Guatemalan ones, but yeah, well, I guess, being in Mexico, it's not further south like other species, but yeah, that's interesting. I mentioned before that I've never kept Jack Dempseys, and I would love to keep them someday, but I'm going to be very picky, and the only ones I'm kind of going to settle for are going to be maybe wild cuts. And so if I'm successful in obtaining some of those, I'll definitely you'll see those here in the fish room. because as far as my fish list, my list of species I need to keep, I really don't have much on that list right now. You know, I mean, there's ones that I'd like to keep someday, but it's not really on that list if you're not willing to go out and get them. You know, and I have a tank or two that I could use for them. I'm just not getting them. Like, I think Bean Eye is one of them. I would like to keep them someday, but it's not a priority for me. So, you know, I don't really consider them on my list. You know, my list is stuff I got to have now. And it's stuff that if I found available, the right ones, I would get them instantly, you know? So, how about that as a topic? We've done it before in the past, but I want to hear everybody's top 5 on your list of species. And to be on that list of species, if they become available, you would be honest and say, I'm going to get them right now. You know, ones that you basically have to have. You really want to have right now. That's going to be the ones I want to hear, you know, your list. So obviously for me, I just said wild-caught Jack Dempsey's. That's on my list. I got to think of another species. I don't think I could have a list of one. So let me try to think of another one. Oh yeah, you know, although I do have Tetracanthus, Cuban cichlids, you know, the blood in the hobby is, I think, very stale. And I would jump on the opportunity if there were some wild caughts made available. Even F1s, you know, with the known collection point. So, yeah, Cubans also. I mean, these are very common species, but to me, you know, I like to see, you know, those specifics. And if I had to try to think of a third, try to think of a third. I'm going to think on that one. So I got 2 on my list. Let's hear what you guys got. Let's hear your list of species that you want to acquire, and if they were offered right then and there, you would jump on them. You would make room to keep them today. That is the topic right now. Oh, I see Select Pet had a topic as well. So we got 2 going here. Favorite Amatitlania. And I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. I say every single genus wrong. But that's a good one too. And I really don't have a whole lot, you know, as far as that. I as you guys know, I don't keep a lot of the smaller species. I did have some Panamensis. I got rid of them. I had some Maculopinus. They are gone. And I still do have Panamensis fry if anyone's interested, but it's just not my number one, but I know that a lot of people love them. Ethan said they can be line bred to survive cooler, theoretically. That's a good point. Yeah. Over time, they obviously they get used to certain conditions. I mean, my red terrors, my festae are in, I believe, a lot harder water, higher pH than they prefer in the wild. And funny enough, I keep a lot of wild-caught festae, and you know, I mean that's kind of a testament to, you know, their toughness and their ability to, you know, adapt. But yeah, I think over time, the F1s, F2s, you know, and over, they're going to be able to adjust. You know, I agree with that 100%. I'm wondering how far you can go as far as temperatures are concerned. You know, because Can you really take a species like a red terror and through inbreeding and also adjusting that temps generation after generation to cooler and cooler water, do you really think a festae is ever going to be able to survive in 50-degree waters temperatures? That would be a very interesting experiment. Maybe it would be frowned upon by some, but I'm curious. That would be interesting. Kroger said, I live in Germany, but my electricity bill would kill me if I'd install more heated tanks. So I am looking for some low temperature American cichlids. Yeah, that's what I do for my outdoor ponds, because I don't have any power where the ponds are located. I don't have filtration other than some very cheap solar air pumps through a sponge filter, and even those sponges, when it's a cloudy day or cloudy week, they don't get any energy. They don't pump air. So all these species that I've been keeping outside, they've been the True Texas. That's a good one. The Geophagus brasiliensis. That's a really good one. And I have a group in my 300-gallon outdoors. They've been out there for 1.5 to 2 years, taking the cold winters. They've done really good. That's one I would highly recommend if you got the tank space to do like a colony, a group, because they're kind of aggressive. I kept outdoors some Gymnogeophagus. These species from Uruguay are they're used to those fluctuating temperatures, so they could all take some cooler water. They did good outside. I think I had I think it was called Meridionalis or Terra Purpura. They were the El Norte variant. Really pretty. I wish I could have done more with them. I just did not find the indoor tank space to work on them. But a buddy has them now, so that's cool. I hope he does well with them. What other species outside? Now I'm trying the Carpentus, so that's going to be a fourth one. We'll see how they do. Definitely not. I wouldn't like to see them perish out there, but those fry would have been either feeders or throw them somewhere out in the pond and see how they do. So we'll see. Ooh, GC Cichlids for his list. Here we go. Said Black Nasty. I'm sure he means. And the Hadiensis. That's a good one, actually. And I didn't think about that because I know a buddy who has some wild cuts, and that's another species that's been a little stale in the hobby, I think. And I don't think he's had any success breeding them. He imported, I think, very few of them, 4 of them, from, Dominican Republic, I think. Anyways, that would be an interesting one. I've heard maybe a little small level or medium level of difficulty, if not high. They got the bloat thing going on, but maybe that would have to be my third. So that's a good one. DC Cichlids came up with a good species that I would want to try. Big Fish Lad's list. He says, number 1, Stahlsbergi. That's a great one. You had, Paul, you had that one. I can't remember what happened to it. Do you still have that one Stahlsbergi, that one green terror? You had him with a bunch of other fish? I can't remember what happened. His number 2, Ultim Angels. Pretty fish. Number 3, Bifasciatus. 4, True Amphilophus labiatus. And then 5, the Barmidas. Yeah, so you got some of the amps on there. That's cool. And yeah, Paul's from the UK, and so we're all going to have probably different lists based on availability. Some stuff is going to be available. Some stuff can't be found in certain countries. I've heard that a lot. You know, and some we got that we don't have, you know, so I'm sure the list is going to be based on what you can get, you know. But yeah, Paul, I hope you get the Stalsbergy. Wonder what happened to that. Aquafunk, F who? That's not his list of species, but thanks for stopping by, Aquafunk. Aquafunk, you may have not heard our topic of discussion, but what are your top list of species, cichlid species obviously, that if given the shot, you would get them right now? Your list of top species you want to get. And it has to be a serious list. It's not a list like, down the line. It's something you would have to have. And if you were offered right now, boom, you would make space and get them. I want to hear from you. And I showed up to your live video, Aquafunk, briefly. I couldn't stay long. I think it was like a storm or something. That was pretty crazy. But anyways, Ethan said Jack Dempsey populations have actually been documented being caught in Idaho, Wyoming, Utah, South Dakota because of water influenced by the warm springs. Wow. That is awesome. That's really cool information. I did not know that at all. I would never have guessed that. That is pretty darn cool. Nice. I wonder how they look being in such cooler waters. If they've adapted and they look any different whatsoever. Coloration, I would guess the coloration's got to be, you know, not as nice in cooler waters. Not as bright, and but if they're found there and they're thriving, they're not just living and then eventually dying. They're actually breeding, I would guess, right? So that's really cool. So really neat information. Thanks for sharing that, Ethan. And with that information, you're going to make me. If I ever get, obviously it's going to be multiple steps away, if I ever get those wild-caught Jack Dempseys, I will probably try a batch of their F1s out in the pond. It's on my list to try outside now. Appreciate you sharing that. Aquafog said, just saw the big fish, the fish you sent, Tabarak. Yeah, he told me he was going to do like an unboxing video and put on there. I was so busy lately, I haven't been able to keep up with my, you know, following all the subscriptions on YouTube. It's been my bad, but did he do that video? I would really like to go check it out. Obviously, nothing in there is really sizable. They're all fry for the most part. So it's not going to be like a, oh, wow, little fry. But in 4 to 8 months, man, I think there's gonna be some stunners in there. So Drizzy Breeze, what's up, man? He said, I heard the Chanchita cichlid, has one of the highest cold tolerances of all cichlids. Very interesting. I'm gonna have to, the Chanchita, is that the that's not the chancho, like the feminine version of the chancho cichlid, right? Which is an Amphilophus. It's just my partially an honest question, partially just my humor. Just curious what cichlid that is. Drizzy said Black Nasties too. Yeah, Black Nasties seem to be one of those popular ones, and I'm guessing you guys would all prefer some fresh blood in the hobby. You know, if my buddy ever bred those wild caught Haitiensis, I'm sure he'll have a pretty big market for them. You know, so okay. Big Fish Lad said in regards to his Stalsberg eye, stomach issues were just too much in the end. That's sorry to hear, bud. Yeah, those that species definitely I would not put as one of the hardier species I've kept. If anything, I would say it's one of the most difficult for me, at least. Might be my water parameters being too hard, pH being too high, who knows. I don't know the real reason, but I've suffered from those as well. The white stringy poops, the stomach issues. They basically will go through periods where they go on hunger strike. And then you have to be really careful too, because if it's like a bottom tank and you're not paying attention, you're just feeding them, you know, you don't turn the lights on. If you don't know the exact point when they go on hunger strike, you're just gonna kill the fish, get an ammonia strike, a spike, and they're gonna start dying off. So it's such a tough species, you know, as far as the eating is concerned. I've also had duck lip issues on that species. I've had jumping out of the tank issues, not normal to jumping out of the tank issues. These guys are real jumpers. You gotta have no small gaps whatsoever. I mean, they would jump out of the gap between my hang on the back filter, where no other species have that issue, but the Stalsberg I did. So, you know, nothing like waking up in the morning and walking into your fish room and stepping on a 5-inch wild caught male Stalsberg eye, dried up and dead on the floor. It's not a good feeling. So, Paul, you know, that's an issue I think just about everybody struggles from. So don't feel bad. Aquafunk's got his list. You guys ready? Drum roll, please. He says, number 1, Chancho. Number 2, Chancho. I can't remember the name, but I call them the cow. Water cows, yeah. 3 Viejas. And, you know, which Vieja, obviously, a lot of people would be curious about. But yeah, the Amphilophus, that Chancho Cichlid, those are pretty cool, man. You know, I haven't been a big Amph guy. I haven't kept a lot of them. I want you to tell me, as Amphilophus fans, if there's any of you there, and this is going to seem very ignorant on my part, what looks-wise, what is the difference from an Amphilophus Chancho, an Amphilophus Hoga Boomerome, an Amphilophus Bard Midas, an Amphilophus I don't know. Yeah, I feel like there's so many of those different species that look so similar, if not identical. So, or also that, I don't know how to say it, Falaveus, I just say Flavius. Anyways, they all look so similar to me. A guy who doesn't really keep Amphilophus, so that's probably the reason. But you tell me, can you differentiate those things very easily, or is it a little bit difficult? Aquafuck said, I can get wild jacks out here in Florida, and yes, he did do the video. I think Aquafunk meant feral caught Jack Dempsey's, right? Because I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I don't think Jack Dempsey's were native to any waters in the U.S. I think they were brought in and introduced, is my understanding. And if that's the case, right, if they weren't found there originally, I don't think they would technically be called wild caughts, more of a feral species. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's my understanding. And he did do the video. Tabarak did. Okay, I'm gonna have to go check that out after I'm done with this live video. Thanks, Aqua, for filling me in. Drizzy Bree said, rare cichlids similar to black acaras. Okay, those are kind of his top priority on his list. What exact rare kind of acara-like species would you be interested in? I know they have those, oh God, how do you say it? Andino acara Corelli punctatus, I think it is. I think Max Cichlids, if you guys remember him, I think he was the guy who kind of brought them back, wild caughts, and distributed them, and made it possible for a lot of people to keep those. I thought that was pretty cool. I know there's a lot of other acaras, or the blue acara is more of a common one, but let me know. It's also another species I'm not super knowledgeable about. There's a lot in general I'm not knowledgeable about, but the Stalsberg eye would be kind of the acara type species, right? So maybe that would be something on your list. Speaking of true green tears, I still got fry if anybody's interested, but the batch is running down, so they won't be available forever. And the spawns have been very scarce, I've learned, in the last period of time, so they might not be readily available coming up. Ethan said Chanchita cichlid would be referring to the Cyclotsoma demarius based off Google searches. Okay, yeah, the demarius I've seen. I think my buddy Edgar has some of those. They're pretty cool. I've never kept them myself, but I think I've seen them. Yeah, just so many species that would be nice to keep someday. Try not to use the word on my list, because our discussion topic is, and the definition is, it's something that you would make room for immediately if you found them. That's what I want to hear as far as a list. Your immediate list. Aquafunk caught out of Florida would be considered feral caught. This is Ethan talking. As those populations come from being from aquarium strain being raised. Yeah, I think that's my understanding too, Ethan. But I get it. I've seen a lot of people kind of call stuff found in like Florida canals as wild. I think technically it's not, at least how we refer to wild caughts in the hobby. I think it's good to differentiate, so there's no confusion. And at least when I get wild caughts, I almost always need to know the collection point, the river location, wherever they're collected from in the wild, especially the country. And if I don't know that, I'm a little, cautious about it. So, I doubt you could say wild caught Jack Dempsey's from Florida Canal, whatever name, that's obviously not going to be a collection point of wild caughts, right? It would have to be somewhere in in Mexico or maybe Guatemala. DC Cichlid said, Cichlid is a great one too. Yeah, so that would be your number 2, DC, Umbies. Something that I would love to get into again someday, but I think for me that requires a bigger tank. Either that, or I've even considered just keeping Umbies for a short period of time, up to about 2 years old, and getting rid of them, growing them out, coloring up, pairing, get rid of them. I have a lot of fun with that. It might be my most favorite period of keeping cichlids, is that point where they're anywhere from 3 to 8, 9 inches, right? It's the transformation process. I mean, so much happens during that time. The maturity part, the coloring up process, the pairing up, breeding. I mean, that part is so much fun, and you can definitely accomplish that with Umbies before they get too large for my 24-inch wide tanks. So I thought of that. Just starting with some wild-caughts, keep them for 2 years, get some fry off of them, get rid of the wild-caught parents, growing out the fry, get rid of them when they get too big, and then keep doing that, to a point. But for me to keep them long-term, I just, personally, I got to have a bigger tank. I just don't know if I have something to support the X-large Umbie right now. Let's see. Drizzy said, definitely brought in pound feral. Yeah. Aquavoke said, yeah, they are feral, but they look different from pet local fish shops. Yeah, and that's one of the things, Aquafunk and I feel, and I've talked to a lot of people too. It's like, they said that, I think because of, stale blood and inbreeding over many generations, fish like Jack Dempsey's, might be a high probability of a lot of deformities, health issues, a lot of different kind of looks to them. Nowhere near the electric blue Jack Dempsey, of course. Where, God, they look so different. All of those, but yeah, that's kind of the reason why. If I was going to get a species like Jack Dempsey's, which are extremely common, I've tried to, I would like to do a little bit of good for the hobby and introduce some fresh blood, some fresh F1 blood into the hobby. And so that's why me personally, I would say, the wild caughts is what I'm going to start with. And then the goal would be to breed them and to get some F1s out there, with a known collection point, and go from there. I think that would be a good thing. So we'll see if that ever happens for me. Jay Smith says, still craving wild-caught Dempsey with the red bellies. Yeah, the red. Oh man, those are pretty. The red underside. But in general, I wouldn't be picky. If I could get them, I would get them if there's some wild-caughts out there. So we'll see. Fingers are crossed for sure. All right, Drizzy said, this is Drizzy's list. The True Parrot Cichlid, awesome. Those are amazing, beautiful. The Rio Los Perros Trimac, I like that. I like the specific collection point that you're waiting on. The Rio Los Perros Trimac, I would like to try that too. I mean, might not make my gotta have it now list, but it is something I would like to try a different collection point. Wild-caught Mayan cichlids, that's a great one, and I'm a festae fan. Not that they look similar to someone who has an eye for them. But I would like to keep those. Amphalophus flaviolus. That's the one I can ever say, and that's the one I kind of jokingly said I can't tell the difference between that and 5 other species of Amphalophus. Crystal eye black devil catfish. Interesting. That's a great list. Appreciate the feedback on that. Yeah, Aquafunk, before Max closed his doors, he was going to give a green umbi to you, Aqua. Was that the arrangement? And I was very unfortunate he had to close his doors. I'm obviously wondering if we'll ever see him back in the hobby. I would personally love to see that. I mean, that was kind of his profession and passion, right? So, I tend to think when that's that's so much a part of you, it's hard to you can't stay away from it forever, right? So, we'll see. Yeah, that's unfortunate, Aqua, and yeah, the green umbi would be one worth keeping. I think it goes on my list of would like to try them. It might not be sold as far as it looks wise. Obviously, I think everybody can kind of agree versus the blue freckled umbi probably doesn't color wise it doesn't hold a candle to it. Even the black umbies, those are very beautiful, but it's a different variant, and that's cool. I loved it. It's like the red dovi too, right? And I'm not a dovi guy at all, so my opinion means probably very little, but I like that there was another option of dovi out there, the red dovi. Although, me personally, they don't seem very red. But yeah, there's species that are named that, and might not always look red. I feel like it's more of a, what do they call it? Xanthic. But you see a lot more lighter coloration, whether it be like white or even somewhat orange. I feel like that's a better description of it, but it's cool that there's another option. And yeah, it would be cool to see stuff like the green umbi stick around. I personally, I don't know that it will last. I think stuff like that comes in waves. It gets introduced. People are, oh my God, I gotta have it, and because it hasn't been around, they've never kept it, and then it kind of fades out of the hobby, probably because of interest. People stop breeding them, stop distributing them, and then it will be a period of X number of years when you can't get them, and everybody's like, oh, I want to try that, I want to get that, so it's like cycles, Stahlsberg eye, I think, is another one of those where I hear the case made by Rivulatus fans. Rivulatus is probably a prettier fish. I agree. A lot more coloration, and that's probably what leads to the Stahlsberg eye. You see it come in waves, and then it kind of exits the hobby. Because it doesn't keep its popularity where everybody's got to have it, and then you get a lot of breeders of it. It's not a lot out there, man. And I, besides me, and I hate to be, I try to be more humble of a guy, but I wasn't able to get the Stahlsberg eye for 5-6 years looking, and I finally got it from from a small import where I got about all the fry from that importation, and I was successful in breeding them. I've had fry available for over, I think 2 years now, and I don't know that anybody else is doing that. I don't even know where you've been able to find Stahlsbergi in the past 8 years, with the exception of, you know, 1 or 2 instances, and I think those were based off of imports rather than breeding. So, you know, Stahlsbergi is one of those where I don't know that anybody's breeding them in the hobby in the US and actively distributing them and shipping them. So, you know, I might lose my breeders at some point. I might get out of it, and then maybe you can't find them anywhere for 5 to 10 years. I just think that the cycles of the species, you know, that's kind of how they work, you know, and it makes total sense to me. But I feel like the green umbi is going to be on the same cycle as some of those kind of lesser not so popular species. Aquafunk said, I would love to see him back into, but I really don't think so. Yeah, you're referring to Max. Aquafunk said, oh my God, I got to put on my list the Benai Cichlid. Yeah, that's a good one. That is a real good one. I definitely, they've been available, and multiple variants have been available, multiple localities, and each locality looks different. It's awesome. You know, that's definitely great for a species to sustain and remain in the hobby. You know, when they're beautiful, there's multiple locations that look different. I mean, I'm not a Benai guy, but I think the San Pedros, you know, more of a, you know, black, white, and you know, coloration. I think they look similar to the Camelotes, the San Pedros. But then you got I think the Baluarte, which had a real yellowish gold tint to them. I mean, those are really cool. I think I would probably start with the Baluartes if I had the choice, but I don't know that I think those phased out. You know, I think they were available and then they're gone. You know, I don't know anybody keeping them. And there are the Esquinapas. I think those looked a little bit different too. I mean, what else? What other Benai variants were there? Anyways, different varieties. The only problem with the Benai, and it's part of the reason why I never actually, I was close, but I never took the plunge and got some, was the health issue with them. You know, it's they bloat. You know, they suffer from bloat. People lose them. You know, and you're, you know, even adults. I've seen people treating them, you know, for bloat. You know, over the years and consistently, and losing fish. It's something that, you know, it's if you're not ready for that challenge, man, it can be tough. You know, it could really turn you off on the species. And so I'm kind of I'm somewhat of a calculated, risk averse kind of guy, and so for that reason I haven't tried that species, but I think it would be cool to try for yourself, you know. Who's in here? Who's left? Put your hand up. Do the little hand emoji or thumbs up or something like that. I can't really tell from my phone on this live video who's present, but I'm gonna do that right now. Big Fish Lad is still here. Aquafunk's here. It says there's 8 people in here. I don't know if that's true or not. And I could do a thumbs up, but obviously I'm here. So yeah, if in reality there are only two of you guys, what do you guys want to see? Do you guys want to go see different fish? I'm sure you guys see all my fish many times. Whatever you guys want to do. If the discussion fizzles out early, we'll end it early. They got football on today. I can go watch that. Let me know what you guys want to do. You want to see something? You want to see some Trimacs? Okay. Let's go see some Trimacs. Mark P is in the house. What's up, Mark? Thanks for putting the thumbs up. All right, so Big Fish Lad said Trimacs. I'm going here because I do have some Trimac grow outs. These are not the big ones. And here's a bigger male. Now, it's crazy because, you know, as I've been growing out these Carpentus, these Blue Texas, and that's what this tank is meant for. When I get like a bigger fish in the like Trimac tank, fry, or even the Cubans, I would throw them in here because they are very similar size, and that helps from them destroying all the fry in their other tank. You know, I've done the Cubans in here. I've done the Trimacs and the Carpentus. I can tell you right now, the Cubans are not up to par with the aggression level of the Carpentus or the Trimacs. Just a little observation. I had a few get picked off, and size was not the issue because I have really small Trimacs in here that are doing fine. So anyways, just a little heads up if anybody. I don't really mix species very much, but that's one thing I observed with mixing Cubans with these guys. They do not hold their ground well. But you live and learn. So anyways, Big Fish Lad, that guy doesn't have too many markings, or maybe just it's too small to tell. We'll go see the other Trimacs, because I do have one bigger male and a really funny, bulky, fat, maybe even short-bodied female. Let's go over here. We'll try to get in without them. Big Fish Lad. Here's the male that I'm really liking. And I know he's not super colored up, and in this live video you're definitely not seeing any color, I'm sure. But I think he has some pretty good potential. He's got, you know, the markings are pretty similar on both sides. He got the little teardrops. He's got plenty of spots, and this really weird shaped female. I mean, call her what you think she is. You know, I've even had the question, could she be a short body? Who knows? But anyways, she was like the biggest of the fry at one point, and end up becoming a female. And kind of just have her in this tank with the big guy. He's a little bit aggressive, and I got a lot of dither depi in here. Definitely, you know, they're serving their purposes as dithers right now. But soon I'm going to have to do a divided tank with just this male and the female divided, because this guy is definitely, even at this size, not very nice. But I think he's very pretty. Yeah, he's Rio Naranjo. Doesn't have that tall, bulky look yet that I've had with some of the past ones. But I'm going to see how he turns out for a little bit longer, at a minimum, maybe long term. We'll see. And this female, really weird looking. She has dropped eggs once, and they do somewhat look like they're pairing. Let's see. He said he's stunning. Thank you for that. Yeah, Rio Naranjo, and he said, "Do you still have the real Niltepex?" No, you know, for whatever reason, I grew those out, and I had a lot of them to choose from too. I had some issues with them. You know, I think I had like 20 of them too, and I grew them out, some sizable ones to like 5-6 inches. I, you know, I felt like their markings were very poor. Like not that they lacked markings so much, but they were not as bold and visible at all. Like this is maybe the size. This guy is maybe the size of some of those other ones, the bigger ones, and you could almost not even see their markings. They were so faded away, and I really was not too impressed with them, to be honest. And maybe just the line that they came off of. In addition, I had some deformities in those consistently. Like I think like 30-40% were deformities of their ventral fins. I was really shocked. So I moved them, you know, to a buddy who knew what, and he got them for dirt cheap. And I just moved on. Of course, all the deformed ventral fins, I culled those. But the rest of them, you know, it's like their markings. You wouldn't even, I mean, these markings blow them out of the water. And I don't think that's consistent for that population at all, because I've seen yours and a lot of people have really nice, real Niltepex. But man, I wasn't too impressed with the ones I had, at least. Jay Smith said, there's a YouTuber that has his own strain, supposedly, of Trimacs that he's dubbed the Pyro Trimacs. They look pretty good. Yeah, that's, I believe that's Skip. Is that correct? Coming to you live, Skip. Yeah, I watched, you know, I used to watch his videos more. I still watch sometimes. Yeah, and he's a big Trimac guy. I think for many years, many years, maybe decades, I don't even know how long, he's kind of dedicated himself to, you know, of many things, but his Trimac, Pyro Trimac line. And I really don't know, because I'm not in the know-how of his line, but if anything, I would guess it's a mixture of collection points. Obviously, line breeding is inbreeding a lot of times, and so I think it's generations of inbreeding and line breeding and mixing in more different collection points. So yeah, you know, he's got his coloration of some of his fish is beautiful, but you also can find pure collection point fish that are stunning as well, you know, but not to take away anything from his work. You know, I definitely agree. They look very, very nice. Yeah, that's his YouTube, what is it? Fish Law 1, yeah. I think Skip is old school, very old school. So yeah, Paul, I think this guy might be pretty good. I just a little concerned that at such a small size, he's got such an aggression issue already, but maybe that's all Trimacs. But the ones I've grown out in the past haven't been this mean this young. You know, I was able to get away with dithers and stuff longer. So that's why I'm guessing I will not be able to keep this pair together. I'll have to divide them. Otherwise, he's gonna destroy her, most likely. But that's similar to a lot of Trimac situations, right? So. Anyways, glad to show you guys the Trimacs, whatever you guys want to see. I got this male festae, this F1, off of one of my wild caught pairs back then that's finally showing out. And maybe I shouldn't show him here. I want to do a nice video for him. He's over here in the tank on the right. Obviously, it's not going to do him any justice. But this guy has just finally claimed dominance in here. You're seeing more glare than anything, so I apologize. But he was like third or fourth in the chain of command in this tank, and he was smaller than like 3 females. And I was just like, man, he is not catching up in size and fast enough. And so I divided him. I did a little portion of this 180 gallon, divided him, and I power fed the crap out of him. And he put on size in 2 months like you would never expect in a festae. And now he's the boss. And so I released him. And then within a week, this one wild-caught female that is not his mom over here, this wild-caught female, she instantly liked him, and she dropped eggs in that pot. He, of course, did not fertilize them. He's just he's a noob to that scene, and so I wasn't expecting anything, but I think this guy's got a lot of potential. He's got a lot of females in here to choose from, and he's finally a dominant fish in this tank. So hopefully he's going to be one of those males who I can do a pair-only tank. He will hopefully accept a female, because I honestly think he's got some of the best traits of any breeder I can get. You don't even see any of his barring right now, but his barring I feel is perfect. It's probably close to a 10 out of 10. And then those spangles on the fins, man. Most of my males in the past, they all lose spangling to some degree. This guy hasn't lost any of them. I mean, he's kept all his spangles. It's I really feel like he's going to be a good breeder if I can get him to be the right male that he needs to be, you know? Growing a little nuchal hump. So there's the pair. Anyways, little sneak peek. I got to do a little lighter video for them that do them justice a little bit better. But lots of fun in the festae tank, festae grow outs. It's been a while. These get growing those guys out. Cool fin aquatic Sid, nice, thank you. Aquafunk said, okay peeps, I gotta bounce, but I love learning from these lives, bro. Yeah, Aquafunk, thank you so much. Everybody go check out Aquafunk's videos. He does live videos. Cool guy. Where were we? I know you guys all can't stick around. We got stuff to do. Let me know if you there's anything you want to see. I don't know who's remains in this chat right now, but if you want to see species here or talk about anything, ask any questions, let me know. If the discussion dies down, then I'm gonna make it a wrap. If not, I'll go longer. So let me know. Cool Fins Aquatic said, those are crazy fire. Thank you, Cool Fins. What species you're referring to are maybe the ones in front of us right now? The Carpentus? If so, I can zoom in, get you a better view without the glare, hopefully. Hey Richard, what's up, man? Richard said for whatever reason did not get a notification. Yeah, Richard, sorry about that. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. When I start a live video, you normally get a notification, or what's the deal? Maybe just that's strange. I know that I'm unable to do a planned live video, meaning you know, maybe plan it 5 hours ahead. And if for whatever reason, when I tried doing that, I couldn't even get into the video when it came time to start it, you know. So I just kind of, when I have free time in the garage, the fish room, I'll just get in here and just start going. So mine are always spur of the moment type meetings, but Mark P posed a question, and Mark, maybe it's good for everyone here to answer. Said your all-time favorite fish species. I'm sure everybody knows my all-time favorite, and you know, thinking about it, all-time favorite, that's a tough one to differentiate. Like, really kind of have to define that, because it could just, you know, whatever species you have now, you might be really into it, and you kind of put more weight into that species, you know. But you also have to consider, maybe in my case, when I was 10 years old and kept convicts and Oscars in my room growing up, you know, I can't discount those either, you know. But so I think it's whichever way you define it. But for the past 5-6 years, festae, red tears, have been my number one, without a doubt. And it's not really dying off for me. I mean, I keep so many tanks of festae. It's my favorite. Carpentus, probably number 2. Blue Texas. For me, I always joke with my buddy, it's my favorite is the fire and ice. You know, the fire is the red tears, and then the ice is sort of the blue Texas, you know. But those are mine, Mark. Thanks for the question. Jay said, my cons are so prolific. Does anyone think it's wrong to use the fry as feeders? That's a good question, Jay. I'll answer. I don't think it's wrong to use fry as feeders at all. I think it happens in the wild quite often. I mean, what's the percentage of a batch of fry of cichlids in the wild that survives? If I had to guess, it's probably like 3 to 5% or something like that. Anyway, so you could say naturally most of them are feeders anyways. If you had a spawn in a community tank, those would 100% be all feeders, more than likely. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Fish need to eat. You know, live fish can be a form of food. There you go, right? Matt Hernandez, what's up, Matt? Thanks for stopping by. Matt said, hopefully I'm not too late to the party. Matt, not at all. You know, I kind of do these things and spur of the moment, so I get it. Not everyone can join right in the beginning. I usually will do them for about a 2-hour period, and unless they fizzle out early, then I'll end it early. But we're good, you know. We had some cool discussion topics today. I think the biggest one was what is your must-have now list of species that if you were offered it today, you would make room to keep those, right? And we had many replies. We had a lot of people talk about Haitiensis was a consistent one on that list. So I'd love to hear from you guys who haven't answered what those species would be. Keep in mind, you have to be honest. If someone were to offer them you right now, you would make room to keep them, right? So It's kind of how I define it. Nacho, what's up? Nacho said, good evening. Red Tiger mode I got from you, still growing thick. That's great to hear. Yeah, those modas, and I haven't been able to really do them justice. The pair that I got might go out to a buddy of mine, but I'm glad to hear yours are doing good. You know, I got fry still. I'm not sure if I'm going to grow some of those out for myself, but anyways, glad to have you here, Nacho. Tabarak Aquatics is here. Thanks for showing up. I got to go check out your video, bud. Hope the fish are doing good. He said, I definitely have to get me some Pyro Trimacs. Yeah, those are, there's no denying the beauty of those, that line of Trimacs. Just colors on them are great, you know? So that would be cool to keep them. Not just said all the fry from them go to my puffer. He likes to chase them around for fun. Yeah, those puffers are cool, man. Yeah, every time you see videos of they feed like crawfish or crabs or this or that, man, the beaks of those things, just crazy. Reminds me, one time I was in Okinawa in Japan, and you know, you guys probably remember the Simpsons episode about the fugu, the blowfish, where you can only eat certain parts, otherwise it's poisonous and you die. Anyways, I caught snorkeling right near the sand, the beach. They're those puffer fish, you know, those fugu. And and you know, I cornered one onto the beach, you know, and not pushing it or anything, because they have spikes that come out, and he kind of got stuck on the beach, you know, and you know, with the waves, and he was all, you know, I got out of the water and he's all like, you know, spikes out, and he was all blown up. It was pretty funny. I took my snorkel and rolled him back in the water, but puffer fish are pretty cool. Tabarak said, when are you going to have Depe Fry? Well, I think that ship has sailed, unfortunately. Tabarak, I used to keep them. I used to breed them, and I am down to 3 dithers. I have a local buddy, I think, called dibs on them a while ago. But yeah, I decided to get out of them. They're awesome. They're amazing. But, you know, it's just... I had fry available for quite a while, actually. Some F1 fry off of that wild caught pair that I used to keep. You know, I thought about if I wanted to grow some out and keep another pair, but I think it's just, you got to prioritize, you know. I really like the Depi, but too many species, not enough tanks. Oh, Nacho said the Asian arowana. There you go. Yeah, Tabarak said, I want a black Gorillas Umbi. Yeah, those are pretty cool, man. We were just talking about Umbies. I think Aquafunk said the green Umbi was on his list. And yeah, I think it's really cool that there's different varieties to keep, you know. Me personally, I think the blue freckled obviously is the top dog as far as coloration, but man, those other ones definitely cool too, you know. Jay Smith said, gotta go. The missus just handed me one of her infamous honey-do lists. That's awesome. Being sarcastic. Jay, thanks for stopping by. I completely understand the honey-do list. I hope you have a good evening. Until next one. Tabarak said, if I could get a reasonable price on Osfracii, I would definitely get some. That's cool. Yeah. The Osfrasi, I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong. Those are cool. You know, I watch people. I haven't. I'm somewhat risk adverse. I know, and I've heard that though that's more of a sensitive species. I think. I think I'm not sure what the issue is, but I know people have had issues and they lose them. I'm not sure if it's internal, bloat related or not, but those are neat, and it's nice to have another species in the hobby that, another option. But yeah, you're not finding those for cheap at all. I think I saw them somewhere 1 inch for $125, and they were like F infinities. I forgot what generation they were. Yeah, it was just expensive, to say the least. But I also get that, with it's all about supply and demand, and a rare species like that, they're definitely not going to be cheap. There's limited quantities, and that's just the way it is. But yeah, I hope you maybe they'll get popular enough. Maybe people will be successful in keeping them alive, so that they become popular enough, and then maybe you'll see more breeders and more of them distributed, and in competition, driving the prices down. That would be awesome. But I'm not really sure, if that's going to happen with that species. So we'll see. Nacha said, yeah, live craw is fun. Yeah, the crawfish. They just chew right through those things. Crazy. Or even those, what are those shrimp? I think it's saltwater, right? Man, those really mean, like, deadly shrimp. You can't even, like, they would cut right through chop your finger off or something. Those things just like destroy crustaceans and whatnot. Forgot what that shrimp is called. Anyways, really colorful shrimp that kind of hides in the sand and then just destroys its prey. Richard Mason said, I finally found the red sea bull I asked you about. That's cool. Richard, where'd you find them at? Congratulations, by the way. That's awesome. Matt Hernandez said, here are my top 3 I wouldn't be able to turn down. The Sajika, the Lion's Eye, and maybe a nice male Cuban. There you go. Yeah, those are great ones. I mean, the Sajika, man, I thought of those actually, and I'm not much of a smaller species type of guy, but those are, man, I've seen some of the bulky little nuchal humps, that those things develop, the males over time. I mean, those are cool. They're like little pit bulls. Yeah, I would like to keep those at some point, but I don't know if I could say it's on my must-have now list. But yeah, at some point. And then the Lion's Eye. Yeah, I used to keep the Lion's Eye. Lion's Eye were great. They're really cool because they were sort of a more mild amphilophus species as far as their temperament. They were. I kept them with other fish, and I had a large pair, like a 10-inch male and a 7-8-inch female, and they tolerated plenty of other species, smaller fish. I used to grow fish out with them because they were so tolerant. Really, really cool, So Lion's Eye are pretty cool. Nacho said, what is the lowest temperature the Braziliensis can get to in winter? Nacho, I'm not sure in like Uruguay what the lowest temperature might be that they get to, but I could tell you in my pond, if that's what your question was, I think it gets into the high 40s, depending on the winter. but mine withstand temps of high 40s Fahrenheit, of course. So they're pretty hardy fish. They can take a lot, and they also apparently getting those fluctuations in Uruguay in temperatures. It supposedly, I've heard, it helps them stay healthy. So they kind of need that, is what I've been told. So, you know, for the first year or two, I kept them in my fish room because I wanted to breed them and watch them and get fry from them. But, you know, that was a consistent, you know, 78 to 84 degrees. They didn't really get their cool down periods in there. So I made the judgment call and I put them out in the pond for that reason, mainly. So, yeah, that's right, Nacho. And the mantis shrimp. Yeah, those are nuts. God. Can you imagine not, you know, fishing for them and accidentally catching one on your hook and not knowing what it is? Oh, boy. That's scary. Accidentally grab them and, boy, that would not be good. Matt Hernandez said, I've actually heard of males hitting 8 inches plus. I'm going to try to scroll back. I forgot the species. Are you talking about the Cuban males, which was on your list of fish? Or is that another species? Sorry. Or the Braziliensis? Tabarak said, why don't you keep any pike fish? That's a good question. It just, it's hard to explain, right? Stuff that interests you. And maybe this is the reason. Generally speaking, the cichlids that I like to keep, you know, generally will have the ability, or they are sort of taller bodied fish. I really prefer a profile of my fish to be kind of bulkier, taller, nuchal hump, rather than streamlined, long and streamlined. And I would guess the pike is sort of a streamlined look of a fish, right? Profile. I don't know. I don't think the pikes get a tall, bulky profile. So that could be the reason, you know, as I gravitate more to species that I could get, you know, kind of a desired look to the fish I like. So not all of my fish have that. And not all of the species I keep necessarily do that, but generally speaking, I'm more of a, you know, that's more my preference. Richard Mason said, Ken at Fish Farm USA has small ones. Cool. Yeah, maybe put you guys in touch if you're looking for the certain species. Go check Ken out. Mark P said, what type of filters do you prefer? That's a good one, Mark. I actually could go talk a lot about that. But, you know, I don't know if you've seen my fish room, the way it's set up, but my base filtration is all sponge filters, right? So I got this, I think it's an Alita 80 linear piston air pump up here. And that powers this closed loop PVC air system. And it drops down everywhere, not the prettiest look, of course, and to the sponge filters in the tanks, right? That's my number one. My bottom tanks are all sponge. That's it. My top tanks all have 1 to 3 hang on the back filters in addition to the sponge filters. So the one that I have the most in here are the Aqua Clear 110s. I mean, you can see up here, with the exception of that Tidal, Seachem Tidal 110. These are all AquaClear 110s. You know, on this 240 gallon, I have 1, 2, 3 of them. And then, so I think I have like 14 of these AquaClear 110s, or even some of them are really old. They're AquaClear 500s. And the one newest one that I started keeping, you know, I did sort of a, I never really do that, but I did one video that was a review, a product review, so to speak, is this Top Fin Pro 110 filter. And the only reason I experimented and got it, I'm a huge AquaClear, as you can tell, AquaClear guy. But the Top Fin, I saw this when it just came out at PetSmart. I think it was under 30 bucks, brand new. I was able to get it with a coupon. And I said, I got to try this out. You know, I like to experiment and try new things. I tried that, that back there, that Seachem Tidal 110, which I am not a fan of at all. I'm surprised it's even in my fish room still. I need to get rid of it. But this Top Fin Pro 110, I am a big fan of this. And part of it is the value. Being less than 30 bucks. I mean, that's great. I mean, how do you beat that? But the other part is the function of it. You know, it's got these drawers. It's got the, you know, I mean, I'm doing like a product review thing right now. I don't even have media in that bottom corner basket. I need to add something, but flow seems great. I got bio or ceramic rings, you know, up here, and I like it a lot. You know, it doesn't have any like faulty design issues like the Seachem Tidal has with like that filter. Man, I mean, you're gonna get me going here, but I feel like I would be doing a disservice if I didn't actually tell my opinion on stuff. Especially since you asked. Anyways, I like this a lot, and I will buy more of these, 100%. The AquaClears, definitely, man, these things are workhorses, 100%. I mean, the problem with the newer AquaClears I hear is that the fluval version, the plastic is a little bit more brittle. It can crack. I even think that the self-priming feature, which a lot of people have always said that they don't self-prime after like a power outage or something. I've never really had that problem except for one of them, and it's the new version. So I think there's something slightly different about the brand new ones. So the AquaClears, I would recommend buying used ones if you could find the older ones, because these things last forever. I mean, they're amazing. Now, the Tidal, to get into that a little bit, I mean, I might just not be using them right, but I have so many things that I could say on these things. I've tried so many different ways of putting media in here, and these things just bypass the media so easily. If I were to put the sponges on top, those thin sponges that are made for these things that are just a complete rip-off, way too expensive. You got to buy like 6 of them just to fill, or 8 of them just to fill this thing. It's just, it starts bypassing very quickly. Like, I will have to do maintenance on this thing around the clock. And so I almost have to accept that I'm going to have water that just bypasses the media completely. It just does not filter well. I don't think the design is very good. And here's a really terrible thing about the filter. If the bypass, right, the water starts coming out, and this is where it comes out, because this is like the lowest point right here, is right on the dial. Like that's terrible. And so the water should kind of flow into your tank. But you know what it does? Sometimes it flows around the side and it goes down the back. And you could see, I mean, I've had that happen many times, even the wood, because it'll be damp and I'm like, gosh darn it, it's doing it again, of water all over my floor. There should be no way possible that it can do this. I mean, you see from the watermarks, it's doing that. It's done it many times over the years. And, you know, you have to kind of lean it forward so that the water pours in there, but it should never have that problem, period. Like, even if you don't put this thing perfectly level, you know, I got some of the AquaClears that'll lean back. They never have that issue. You know, and so the AquaClears, they flow out right there. That's where the overflow comes if they get too clogged up. It goes right back into the tank. That's how a filter should be. You know, and I'm not even getting into the obvious issues with this filter. I mean, the surface skimmer, it's just horrible. Horrible if you don't use that function. You know, I mean, if your water level is just right here, it'll stop working because the surface skimmer, you can't turn it off. It's you know, the AquaClear 110 will work at the tank level 50%. AquaClear is a way better filter. I need to replace this with another top fin 110. That's what I'm going to do. So, and I haven't tried the Penguin BioWheel things and whatnot. I've tried the Aqueon Pros, and those are really bad. I had 3 new ones, and the motors all failed within 6 months. Yeah, filters I can talk a lot about, especially hang on the back filters, because I'm not much of a canister guy. I definitely am not a sump guy. I need the bottom tanks for another tank of fish. I'm not using it for a sump. So, and the canisters I went away from because of the difficulty of maintenance, as well as the increased power consumption. And hang on the backs are just the filter for me, you know? And so when it comes to hang on the backs, I'm always willing to try something new, you know? And always trying to look for the better product. And I think the top fin definitely has a lot of potential. And at the price point it's at, man, it's hard to beat. It's really hard to beat. So, sorry I haven't read comments in a little bit. I don't know if you guys have been saying anything about my feedback. Let's get caught up. Not just said, wow, that is insane. I would love to try that species next in a similar setup to you. Okay, last comment from me. Have a great night, everyone. Yeah, thanks, Nacho. You may already be gone, but really appreciate you stopping by. Matt Hernandez says Sahika. Yes, Sahika is a good one for the list. No Flare, what's up? No Flare said, I have a male flower horn that I want to crossbreed, but I don't know what to breed it with that will minimize health problems. Huh. You know, I'm not really the crossbreeding hybrid kind of guy, but there might be others here could give you some advice. Floyd's Fish. What's up, Floyd? Thanks for stopping by, man. Appreciate it. Floyd says hello. Richard Mage said, my fish are in an unheated basement, so they will get a good cool down. I have several cool water cichlids, Ruta 44 and A locale. Well, okay, so that's some good information. Who is, sorry, someone was asking about cold water species because they're unheated fish room, I think 68 degrees. So I hope that sounds like some good feedback right there. Thanks for sharing that, Richard. And look who finally showed to a live video, my buddy Christopher Austin. He said, hey, I finally caught one. Sick alive, very awesome. Thanks, Chris. Hope you're doing good. You know, we're just having our cichlid discussion. We had a lot of topics today. I think one of them was your top list of species that you would definitely keep if you were offered them today. You would make space for them right here and now. So kind of I gotta have it list of cichlid species. So, Chris, feel free to chime in. Anybody else who hasn't answered. Another cool discussion topic was filtration. Let's stick to hang on the back filters because that I kind of got into that in detail. Some of the ones I like, some of the ones I don't like. Give me your thoughts on those. I could be completely off base, and maybe you'll open my eyes. Yeah, I think those are the two big ones that we talked about as far as topics. Chris said, yeah, the fluvels suck. I have the old ones still running, and the new ones have all crapped out. Impellers are bad, priming is bad. The old ones used are awesome. Yeah, Chris, I think that's a common thing that people are figuring out. You know, the old Aqua Clears are, man, those things are workhorses. Get the Aqua Clear 500s, the old model. They're going to last you for a long time. No Flair said, I usually go against it myself, but my flower is such a stud. Thick tie green with red and white pearls. I feel like I'm wasting him, and flowerhorn females are a little gnarly. That's cool, man. You know, keep what you like. You know, everybody's got a different preference, and I would have it no other way, you know. The last thing we want is to all like the same species and fish, and just how boring is that? So to each their own, man. Glad you're liking your fish keeping. Matt Hernandez said, my bad, Matt. I keep breaking up what I'm trying to say in multiple comments. Trying to say I've heard of male Cichlid hitting 8+ inches. Wow, I didn't know Cichlid get that big. That's impressive. You know, I always thought they were kind of like the convict type species, like Panamensis, Nanaluteus, Honduran red points, and I don't think those get bigger than really 5-6 inches, right? So Cichlid's, man, it's on a different level if they can get 8 inches. Come on, let's see those teeth. See those teeth? There you go. Whew. Angry fish. My big male. Love this guy. Chris said I got and grabbed several used ones from a garage sale and only one was bad. That's awesome, Chris. Yeah, all of my, I'd say 13 of my 14 Aqua Clear 110 500s are all used. I got them anywhere from 20 to 30 bucks each. And so I don't think you can beat that deal, but I also think it's hard to find those deals nowadays. So for me, you know, if I do find a used one that comes up for a great deal like that, I'll get it. But I am pretty happy with the title. No, I'm sorry, the top fin. I said title. It's the complete opposite. I'm pretty happy with the Top Fin Pro 110 hang on the back filters. So I will definitely buy another one for 20 something bucks, brand new, with a coupon at PetSmart. And guess what? I'm going to be replacing that. I'm going to replace that that Seachem Title 110 with a Top Fin Pro. Just got to do it. I'm lazy. Richard said that's too long a list, just so many fish. Yeah, Richard, it's too many fish, not enough tanks. What can we do, right? It's the biggest problem we have as hobbyists. Tuberak said, did you try the Penplax HOB? No, I haven't. Can you tell me a little bit about them? Do they have what's their highest model? Do they have a 500 gallons per hour model? You know, kind of to compete with the AquaClear 110. I think the top fin is 450, 500 GPH. Obviously, that's what I would need. I don't even mess with, for the most part, I don't mess with the smaller filters. Hang on the backs. Kind of go biggest model or I don't get one, you know? This is for Chris. Chris, let's go check out the festae a little bit. You're not going to see any color on these guys, but little 2 peas in the pod. This guy just keeps on putting more size on. Chris said, I want to try the top fin. I've seen your updates. I love my canisters, but they're energy eaters. Consumption is crazy, and I'm doing over-under setups as well. So I'm getting away from them slowly. Yeah, Chris, I used to have some of the, what were they, the Sun ones, the Chinese one. You know, they put out like 525 GPH, but such a pain in the butt to do maintenance on, you know. So I went to hang on the backs. Jeff, what's up, Jeff? Jeff said, hey, mate, I'm in Australia. We have what they call super green Texas. Are they Carpentus? You know, that's a good question. Is anybody familiar with the super green Texas? You know, I have seen that line called Thai GT, Thai Green Texas, I'm guessing. I'm not sure if that's what they are. Maybe you can clarify, but I can't speak on the Super Green Texas label. So. Chris, the male is thick. He's a stunner. Thank you, Chris. Need some of those females for mine. And Suns are incredible. They're indestructible. Not as convenient as hang on the back filters. Yeah. Yeah, you know, I did have a problem with one of my Suns where I think the seal of the lid, the top portion got old or whatever, and it kept leaking. And I put more Vaseline or whatever they say to put on there, and it just was not sealing very well. And I bought a new seal, and then you know, before I even installed it, I just said, hey, you know what, I'm gonna go to hang on the back filters. So, but without that, you know, I think they did pretty well. If I were to do a monster tank, I think I would not be able to get away with hang on the backs and sponges. You know, I'm talking like 400, 600 gallon tank. I probably, you know, obviously should do a sump, but you know, if I wanted to use the bottom space for fish, I would probably do a couple FX6s on mine with some hang on the backs on top. Just because those FX6 put out so much more gallons per hour, I would probably bite the bullet and go for the Fluval FX6. Now, you know, I'm not going to just buy them for $360, whatever they cost. You know, you could, over the years, you've been able to get those filters for, I think, about 150 to 170 bucks if you get them on sale at PetSmart. You know, you use coupons on top of it. It's just people have been able to get those filters for really cheap, my buddy being one of those. So it would only be to, you know, if I can get really good deals on them, you know. Let's see. Jeff said it's just a shop. Let's see what Jeff referring to. Jeff, are you talking about the Super Green Texas being a shop name? I don't think you are, but maybe I'm missing the conversation here. Matt Hernandez said, pretty sure Super Green Texas is another name for Carpentus. Okay. Maybe. Could be. Christopher Ralston said, I love my FX6s. They're pretty easy. Maintenance for a canister. Hardware is cheap and filters are awesome. I got mine on Black Friday. Yeah, that's awesome, Chris. 149 bucks. How can you beat that, right? Tabarek Aquatics said Penplax Cascade HOB is 300 GPH. Okay, so less, kind of a smaller filter than the Aqua Clear 110s and the Tidal 110s and that kind of thing. So that maybe they don't make the high, like the big version, you know. But definitely might be a good filter. I haven't tried it, you know, for smaller tanks. Jeff said yes. So Jeff, I guess Jeff was saying that the Super Green Texas is a fish shop name. So it's a fish shop, tropical fish shop that you have in your area, I'm guessing. Anyways, I wonder if that fish shop, no? Oh, Jeff said no. Okay. I'm totally missing the conversation. I'll just, maybe he was saying yes to someone saying that they're just Carpentus. Okay, I get it now. Yeah, the Carpentus, the one with many common names, right? Man, they swiveled my damn pot all the way around. These guys. This male has got to be 13 plus inches. Okay, sorry. My misunderstanding of the term shop, shop name being not an actual fish shop, but the common name of a species. I get it now, Jeff. So, what do you guys want to see? You guys want to see any other fish here? You guys want to talk about any other topics? Let me know. Chris said I'm in the middle of separating for shipping, building boxes and setting up more fry tanks. So I'll be AFK for a minute more, but I'm listening. Glad to finally make one of these. Yeah, no problem, Chris. Oh, all right. So we had a request. Matt Hernandez wants to see those Carpentus growouts. Yeah, no problem. All right, so we might get a lot of glare. Of course we're gonna get glare. The Carpentus growouts are doing good. Biggest dominant male in here, and this is the female that was in breeding dress, but I siphoned all her fry out. I threw them in the 100-gallon pond outdoors, and they're back to normal state. I have another male in here that I'm really liking, and it's based on his profile. I think it's this guy. Let me see. Got kind of a nuchal hump building right there. I like that guy a lot. So obviously the angle is going to make their face look elongated and whatnot. I'm just trying to avoid the glare. Look at him shaking his head right there. Anyways, the Carpentus growouts are doing pretty good. Obviously, they're not going to be able to stay in this 100-gallon tank in this size group. I think there's 12 of them. They're going to outgrow this tank, and I will have to make some decisions coming up. You know, but what a fun species, man. And you know, it's one of those species that I always recommend because it's kind of somewhat of an instant gratification type of species. Like, you do not have to wait 2 years of growing out like festae. Man, that male that I showed in the 180, Chris, I don't know if you were here when I showed that male, but I have this F1 male that just finally took dominance with all those other females. So anyways, the carpet, you know, it took 2 years for festae for me to grow those out. It was ridiculous how long it takes. Carpentus, man, they get right to it. They color up really small, and you know, I would never worry about starting with small fry of this species, because within 3 to 4 months you're going to have colored up, possibly a breeding pair of very small fish. This female is like 3 inches right here. Male might be 4.5. It's just so fast, you know, everything happens so quick, and you get to enjoy them colored up so quickly. The festae, on the other hand, man, it takes a long time. Slow growers, maturity might take a while. Now, don't get me wrong, I have seen small pairs of festae, but I personally have never experienced a very small pair of festae. It just takes a while. So there's another maybe male over here, I'm not sure. So anyways, let's get back to it. Oh, Jeff said a bit like red horseface is for mini geos. Not sure what red horseface is, but I think it was relating that to the Texas, the super green Texas. Chris said, let's see the new Carpentus pair that you haven't already shown them. Oh yeah, Chris, you're just asking for the little pair, right? The grots. They're not in breeding dress, like I just mentioned. I took all their fry and I threw them out in an outdoor pond. I didn't have anything really to do with them. I showed earlier in this video that the big pairs, right? So you got the big male right here, and they spawned. This female up here. They spawned finally. It's been a long time since they had a successful spawn. And I put their fry up here. And then this other big pair, they spawned. And I put their fry up here. And then, of course, this small pair spawned. And I'm all out of breeder boxes. And so I thought, hey, let me just give them a shot. I'll throw their fry in an outdoor 100-gallon pond. So they seem to be doing pretty good. They've been out there for like 4 or 5 days, and they're doing great. It was a 10-degree temperature drop outside, and you know, I mean, it's going to get colder, so who knows if they'll last. But it's more like an experimental batch of fry, so we'll see. Matt Hernandez said, awesome, they look like mirror images. Thanks, Matt. Yeah, they're just it's just a great species, really fun. And I gotta keep this, I guess you could say, keep this line going, because man, they're awesome. Great fish. I really wish I had a tank big enough to do a colony and not have to separate them. You know, I tried to do that in the 180 gallon, and man, I had 4 breeding pairs in the 180. I think I have video of that on my channel way back, not too long ago, but I had 4 breeding pairs, and those 2 big pairs are 2 of the pairs, right? I had them with a bunch of adults their size, and I eventually had to break it up because it got too rough in there. I did that in a 180 gallon, so obviously that was too small. But if I had the right size tank, man, that would be a fun, big monster tank community. So, Chris said, I love that pair. If you decide you find a pair you want to move on with them, let me know. They are top 4 for me right now. They're awesome. Awesome, Chris. Yeah, Chris, I'll definitely have to. It's tough, man. You know, I always get the requests about, well, bigger fish and grouts in general. You can't imagine how many Carpentus. Do you have any bigger Carpentus? Do you have a male? Do you have a female? Do you have a bigger festae? You know, this and that. And of course, breeding pairs, you know, but obviously I'm not moving breeding pairs very often, almost never. So anyways, yeah, I'll try to make it as fair as possible to the hundreds who have requested them. And I usually try to do that by doing a YouTube announcement, but definitely. Chris said, I think they're the next for me just because of how fast they move. It's a gratification, is always good with a new project. I kind of want to do the Umbi, but they're so big. Yeah, Chris, it's the same thing. Same issue I have with the Umbi. They just get too big too fast. Got to have a big tank, monster tank. Matt said, sadly rehomed my male Carpentus. The 75 gallon just didn't seem big enough. I think he hit 6 inches in like 9 months. He was an absolute glass banger. Yeah, that's sad. Sorry, Matt. You know, I mean, a 9-inch Carpentus, I would guess they're not going to get much longer than that. Maybe 10, maybe 11 inches. But yeah, they're going to get taller, bulkier, and it's, you know, if he's too rough to keep with a female or any other fish, man, it's a little hard. You know, you really got to be committed to that single fish, you know, wet pet type of tank, right? And I'm not. Me personally, I don't really do that stuff. So I completely understand. It's tough when you get that one big male and he doesn't get along with any female or any other fish, and it's just like, man, you know, I love them, but I can't just have a one fish tank, you know. I get it. Anyways, guys, so we're a little over 2 hours here, guys. Let me know if you have anything last call, so to speak, that you want to see or go over. Probably going to you see this male shaking his body there. Can't believe, couldn't imagine they want to spawn again, but let me know. If not, probably close out this video. Another live video. I think it was very successful. I had a lot of fun, like I always do in these videos. And most importantly, really appreciate everybody showing up to the Cichlid meeting. Chris said he wanted to see the motor pair. I love them. Yeah, of course I don't mind, Chris. They're in a spot, as you can see, it's like facing outdoors. They are not very outgoing when I have the garage door open, so we might not see a whole lot. You can see the female creeping down there, hiding under the plant. You're not going to see her colors, but she's definitely got red. She's a pretty fish, really pretty fish. And the male, incredibly shy right there. Now it's coming a little bit. And now the female came out a little bit. Probably could use a cleaning on the inside of the glass, but they're doing pretty good. Male's getting big, man. Definitely one of the reasons why I was like, I'm gonna probably better off moving him. Got a little nuchal hump going too, and he's, man, little mean fish there, maybe in the making. Never had a motor that bit my hand when I went in and cleaned the tank before, so that would be a first. But he's really nice, and it's too bad I can't keep him. So Chris, oh yeah, Tabarak said, did you show the Cubans? I did not show the Cubans yet. Let's go see the Cubans. And they're also in a situation where they could be a little skittish due to the garage door open. There's the females down at the other end. I thought she was getting ready to drop some eggs in the pot, but there she is. I'm trying to avoid the glare, but she's really awesome. And I had some fry in here. I think they finally picked them off, and they might be gearing up to spawn again. So it's a good pair. I like them. I wouldn't say it's the best pair looks wise, you know. Maybe this male will grow into it. You know, like I said, I like to have that big tall profile and a little more of a nuchal hump on him. Maybe he'll develop that over time, but as far as a pair, man, they're great. And I've seen some of the fry my buddy Michael grew out, and man, they look really good. So if you guys want some Cuban fry, I think I have bigger one. I have like 2 to 2.5 inches of theirs. So let's see, come on. Nope, not gonna glass bang. My old Cuban, man, he used to just hate me. He used to bite me and all kinds of stuff. It was pretty cool. Tabarak said, you can send that motor to me. Chris said, they're awesome. Thanks, Matt. And I definitely love the Cubans too. Yeah, Cubans are fun, man. It's a fun fish. And you know, I think I said it before, but I feel like all the Cubans I've kept, they generally do good as a pair. I'm trying to think if I've ever had a pair like the male just go aggro on the female and kill her or destroy her. I think they've all done really good as a pair. So, you know, if that's also obviously something to take into consideration when, like, what species and should I try next? Should I try to breed next? And I think that's a big plus. Maybe others have had different experiences, but every Cuban pair I've had has done great together. No issues. Richard said, they are beauties. Thanks, Richard. I could have gone that route instead of the Freddies, but then I would be sorry I didn't get the Freddies. Yeah, you're not going to be upset. You're not going to be sad about getting the Freddies. I can tell you that. And shoot, you know, we didn't even update the Freddies. Man, these guys are nuts. So obviously you're not going to see the colors. They're very gold in person. What's going on back there? 2 females fighting back there, 1 male. Anyways, God, more females. There's a lot of females fighting in here. It's just a freaking wild tank. And then of course there's the female up here. I just had another 2 spawns, and I siphoned the fry out like I would anyways, because it was just getting hectic in there. And who knows how long they're going to last in here. Might be a little overcrowded. I'm not really sure. Maybe I should use them as feeders. But anyways, the Freddies are awesome. I mean, you're not going to be disappointed with this species. They're so fun. And if you could get away with doing a group for a little while, oh God, it's amazing. And trust me, I'm not just saying this, the colors are not coming through in this video. These things are glowing here. These females are fighting here. Males flaring up, and man, when they had fry, with their two pairs with fry last week, it was out of control. It was just like flare fest, fry everywhere. Most of them got eaten off. I siphoned whatever I could. Fun species. Can't be upset with them. Tubrock said they're beautiful. Thanks, bud. Matt Hernandez said one of the best looking Central American cichlids. Matt, maybe that was the Cubans I think you're referring to. Tubrock said the Cuban you sent is a good looking fish. That's awesome, Tubrock. I think I pulled one of the bigger ones out of that batch, so hopefully that one shines. Hopefully you wanted a male. Maybe that's a male, and I'm excited to see how that one turns out. Richard Mason said the Cubans are awesome too. Thanks, Richard. Chris said, I just paid for the Moda. I had to. They're too awesome. I sold a few fish today. Yeah, and just so everyone knows, I'm not playing favorites. Chris and I have been talking about the Modas for a while. He's been the guy I've been referring to, about possibly taking them for quite some time now. And yeah, so it's not me just, deciding like that. It's been that way. Anyways. Gentlemen, if there's no other fish requests, then I might have to do something around the house or something. Taurak said still not fair. Yeah, Taurak, can I just bow out of this and let you and Chris hash it out? I feel like I get in too tough of a position when it comes to the fish because, over how many messages I get and requests for certain fish, I try to do my best to be as fair as possible. I definitely struggle with that. But 99% of the time I'm able to just, I decided I'm just going to say, I can't keep a list. I can't keep a list of who gets what fish when it becomes available or this or that. It's just, man, I would just be keeping lists after lists. It would just be so impossible. So I kind of just said, I gotta just decide one thing to make it fair. And so for the most part, I just say YouTube. I'll announce what's available. I think I had two female festae, like 7-8 inches. One just spawned, and those were in high demand. I know Chris wanted some of those, and I did my best because I just announced it on YouTube videos. They went immediately. They went in like literally, one went in like 5 minutes, the other one went in like less than an hour. I feel like it's so, the only practical way for me to deal with that is to do, that exactly what I'm doing. So I know you're probably just kidding about the not being fair, but I just trying to say, out loud, it's hard for me to deal with that stuff, and I'm trying to do the best I can. So it is what it is. But if I could have unlimited modas, pairs, and female festae, I wish I could, so I could just get them out to everyone. Chris said, sorry, buddy. I said it before I seen your comment, or I would have let you have them. I want, all right. You guys are funny. I'm not gonna. I just get in here first next time. But hey, modas are another one that, honestly, starting with fry, and I might just do that. I got Fry for myself. I might get myself another pair, and they're not going to be a festae. They're not going to be festae garrots. I can tell you that. Motors are not going to take 2 years like festae. So it'll be very easy to get a batch of 8, 10 motor Fry and get yourself a really nice pair. Easy. Carpentus, easy. I mean, that's just my experience with them. Festae takes a lot of patience, you know. It's just, that's why everybody with festae is like, I want a big 7-inch female, I want an 8-inch, 10-inch male. It's just because it just takes so darn long with festae, you know. It's just such a patience thing, you know. But you guys are all my buddies, man. You guys are all my buddies. Please don't you guys are giving me a hard time. Anyways, I gotta get some stuff done around the house before the wife gets home, and then I get grounded. I appreciate everybody stopping by. Had a really fun conversation, and yeah, really appreciate it, guys. And hopefully I'll be able to do an update video this week. You know, I might do one on the F1 Festae male that just kind of popped up. And I really appreciate all the support, guys. Appreciate participation in the group thing, the live video, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening or day. Go watch some football or something, and you guys have a nice one, okay? Take care, guys.